This one. Okay. Alrighty, we'll get underway. A few more may turn up. I will just bring them in as they like. Get the presentation running and then get into this. Just now rearrange that. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen now. So the webcam is going to go to the right, and you click on the 3x3 matrix. You can then reshape them to whatever you want, so you can see everybody as they connected. Okay. There we go. All right. So, welcome to How to Help Others Transmute Their Karma into Their Gifts of Service. I'm Nicolas, the man for the Centre for Conscious Ascension. And so this is to talk about the soul contract reading work. To just give you guys a feel for what it's about. This intro is really for the guys who are going to watch it later, especially. So, have you noticed how people turn away from the biggest karmic challenges in their lives? I used to do that a lot. Didn't get me very far. And no matter how hard they've tried, it's just too painful to face them, as they lack the spiritual map of life to overcome them. So this webinar is all about how you can learn to help others identify these karmic patterns, these core patterns, and transmute them so they can deliver the gift of service to the world. That special thing they've been looking for their entire life. So I'm pretty keen to know why you guys are actually here, because that will then formulate how I run the webinar, because it's very much customized depending on whatever you guys need. Okay, so, and you can, most of you on video, Guruvai, you can communicate on chat, I think. I'm not sure if you can. If you can just become a panelist if you like, and then you can keep the video and mic off, and you can chat to me with a chat at the bottom, then I can understand what you need. So I'd just like to hear from you guys a little bit. What brought you here, and what brought you here into the soul contract work, and what your intention is for this webinar. Then I can shape things accordingly. So you're good about, if you want to be seen, you need to say yes to the little box that comes up called become a panelist. That means you can actually switch your video and sound on. Okay, so just try that. It's just come up now, I think. Yeah, then you can join us. That's it. Okay, so if you want to talk, just wave your arm or message me or whatever, but you guys seem to be quite definitely not shy. So if you just, and keep your mic off when you're not talking, otherwise we get the background noise. So Juliet, just say everyone say where you are and what brought you here. Hi, Guruvai. And what's your intention is from this webinar. Okay, you're on, Juliet.
Hi there. So yeah, my name's Juliet. I'm recently living in Littlehampton after 7 years living in Spain, and I'm also commuting to London and Tadworth, Surrey area. So I've always been quite nomadic due to my work and my spiritual path. And I came across this work through a mentor, Steve Noble, who interviewed you many years ago and has used your work as well. And the reason for me being here today is to learn more about it. I recently bought the book, so I've been reading that, and my mum and I have been looking at our charts. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm really interested in developing my own spiritual journey as well as my clients that I work with. So I coach as well as doing yoga and mindfulness. So well-being is my business, and I work with not only adults but also young people. I do a lot of work coaching and training with young people in and around London mostly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's very thorough. Okay, who wants to go next?
Well, I can.
Okay, Marilyn, other side of the world now.
I've had a reading with you, and but I use many names, and I thought maybe this year would be a time when I could have more clarity and finally pin down on something that was working for me in terms of a name. I have your book, and I'm interested in learning how to set it up more. I've played around with it a number of times.
Yeah, a new name really helps. The level 1 training, which is of the subcontract work, is to deliver birth readings based on your birth certificate name. And once you've got that on board and done some practice readings, in level 2 is where you learn how to do overlay readings, how names, different people's names interact with each other, the hidden energy dynamics of what creates relationships at all levels. And within that, we do name optimization, where we optimize the name to help you work through all the challenges of the birth name. So you can learn, that's where we actually learn to do that part of it. So where are you, Marilyn, so people know?
Auckland, New Zealand.
Okay, thank you. All right, who's next? Hard to hide here.
I can go next.
Okay, Natalie, then Gudava.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm from Melbourne in Victoria, Australia. I've recently just purchased the book, and I've read through it once, and I find it just so interesting. I don't have a very good understanding at this point of it. I think I need to read it a few more times. So I'm just here just to get as much information as I can, and just to help me learn all about it.
Okay, well, we'll do as much as we can with that. Thank you. Okay, Gurava.
Hi. Hi, Nicolas. Hi, how you doing?
Good.
It's been a long time. Actually, I think it's been about a year since you had a seminar like this or something like that. So really, I'm here because of Nicolas. I know Nicolas a bit from being an elder in the Mankind Project. And so I really don't know much about what Nicolas is doing, but I'm always interested in what he gets up to. And also, I'm hearing sort of echoes with Juliet, with teaching mindfulness and yoga to children. I'm just about to embark on a nomadic career teaching English online. And those are two subjects that I may well be able to develop. And I'm calling you from Bodrum in Turkey. And so that's me looking forward to the rest. Thank you.
All right, thanks for coming. Okay. Lauren, you're it.
Hi, yeah, can you hear me okay? My internet's a little slow.
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Oh, awesome. This is actually the first webinar I've ever been to, which is exciting because it's the first one in my time zone. I'm in Sydney, Australia, and I first heard about this work watching an interview on Gaia, and then I immediately bought the ebook, and then I immediately ordered the paperback book, and then signed up for all of the trainings that were possible with Soul Contract, which I did do last year. So this work's really life-changing. I just love listening to everything Nicolas says over and over again, because it just seeps in and helps me to do.
Ooh, we've got a bit of a freeze, Lauren, if you can hear me. If you can hear me, just switch your video off so we've got more bandwidth. And she dropped out. Okay. Oh, you're back.
Sorry, went away.
Yeah,
sorry, where did I get up to?
You're talking about, you did all the trainings, I think, and then that sort of disappeared.
Oh, sorry. So I did level 1, 2, and 3 training last year. And you know, it's just really life-changing work. And I often rewatch classes Nicolas has taught, and I read the book many times, and to me you can just never hear or learn enough. So I'm here to absorb even more of this transmission, and to I'm excited to be in my time zone with other people who might be in the training next year.
Okay. Yeah, well, Lauren's going to assist on the first Asia Pacific training as well. So that'll be key.
When I did my training, it was overnight, right? So it's like 10:30 at night till 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, well, we're going to start at 5 p.m. in Sydney, go to 1 a.m.
That's okay.
Which is much more civilized, because that's 6 in the morning in the UK, which is the earliest I can function.
Yeah,
I get up early anyway.
When you get to 3 in the morning and you're in Sydney, it's really hard to stay awake between 3 and 6. I can tell you.
It's a bit tough. Yeah. What happened was enough Australians.
It's possible.
Yeah. Enough Australians asked me after about the fourth or fifth one, asked me, can you make it more civilized time zone? And I thought, let's just try this. So that's why we're going to run one in March, I think 10th to 14th of March. And on the book, a guy watching a YouTube video, it's better to spend a bit more and buy the physical book, because you want to flick backwards and forwards through it. The ebooks are very linear on Kindle. It doesn't work so well for a reference book like this. That's what everyone tells me. So better to buy the book itself, because then you just buy one book and it'll be well used. I've learned, and that's the best way to go with it. Obviously, if you can't carry on around an ebook, it's the next best option. So, okay. Sorry, if you want to join us, just say yes to being a panelist if you want to talk, you want to chat, but you can stay there if you want. You can still message me though on the chat if you want to introduce yourself. I'll let you look after yourself there. Okay. I will continue. Let's have a look. Got the chat up. Hang on. I'm looking at the second screen here, managing things. Right. So we'll get underway. So, okay, I know why you're here. I'm here. Yeah, I should answer that question as well. I'm here because my mission is to help lightworkers like you guys get on with your mission. And in 1990, I met Frank Alpa, the founder of this work, in Arizona at a course called the Carousel of Growth. And I was just at the beginning of my spiritual journey, and I've been doing my big overseas expedition or exploration from New Zealand. And I'd run across his work in Japan, and I had a brochure of his in my backpack for a whole year. It was given to me by a friend in Japan, and I was determined to get to the training in Arizona in January 1990. And in that training, he gave me a reading on the Star of David of my chart. He took this chart here, and he asked me for my name, my birth name, and he analyzed my numbers on this chart, and he explained my entire life, because up to that stage I felt completely lost. I just knew I had to do something other than working in a suit in a corporate office. I didn't know what, and he answered that question, which is to do what I'm doing now, which is to be a spiritual teacher, really. And I've been following my chart for 30 odd years, and it's all come to pass in some pretty amazing ways. That's why I'm here. And I landed in London. I spent 7 years in the corporate world, but I was doing this work in part-time in the weekends, and it got to a day, there was a day where there was a blue sky day in the city of London. I was sitting in my glass box high up. A cloud went by, about 200 foot long, and it was in the shape of an angel, almost waving at me. And I knew that was a sign it was time to leave. So I left about 6 months later. I turned it into a part-time job. I really got this business going, and then I transitioned to the current business, which has been running for 20, 21, 24 years, nearly 25 years. So it was a big catalyst, this work, because someone had given me the spiritual map of my life. So it helped me to deliver my gift of service, which is the spiritual map of life with this work of what someone's really here to really do. So let's talk about this gift of service. So our karma contains our gift of service. Now that may seem a very strange concept, but the biggest challenges we face contain our gift of service. And most of us, me included, even today's on some things, we turn away. So we turn away from our gift of service because we have a whole lot of stuff happen in life when we're younger, especially, which we don't like. And what happens is our soul contract attracts everything we don't like. So we discover what we do like. I attracted a lot of disempowerment in my life. And the whole point of that was not to defeat me by letting it was so I could come into my power. So we experience everything we don't like, so we get clear what we do want. So we move from one negative expression, in my case, disempowerment was a major one, to a positive expression of being in power. And so what happens is that we have the law of attraction it's designed to create our reality from our soul contract, which is a set of frequencies in our name that the soul puts in place based on our birth certificate name. Initially, we attract with the law of opposites everything we don't like. So eventually, by the law of attraction, we create everything we do want, which is empowerment in my case. So if we take a look at our karma or our shadow, what happens is that the gift, as we transmute it layer by layer, we have a feeling experience of gradually moving to the positive qualities of it, and through the law of attraction. So that's how we create the good stuff in our life. And that's how we claim our gift of service. Because when we can overcome this, life gets a lot easier, and our gifts of service are delivered to the world. Many light workers, many service souls are sent to Earth, but only a few actually come online because they managed to overcome this. Most people don't, even light workers, simply because they don't have this map of what they're here to really do. So if any questions as we go through, just ask me. Okay. So how can we help others claim their gift of service and stop wandering around aimlessly, bouncing off the walls? Well, that was me when I met Frank Harper. So learning to do this work as a soul contract reader, especially if you're a therapist or a facilitator, enables you to decode rapidly the secret, so the blueprint of life for spiritual seekers, and it's all hidden within their birth name, in whatever language it's in. And so this energy is stored in us, in our DNA, in our energy fields, in our physical body, and it radiates out to the matrix, the reality. And the matrix is like a big 3D projection screen. And when you put out a certain frequency, by the law of attraction, it will then recreate a certain reality for you to experience. Two people could be in the same room, but they'll be experiencing a different reality. And so once people know what their name really means through this work, the spiritual map that comes out of it, and it empowers them to overcome their karma, which is the reason people get interested in this work, express more of their talents, achieve their goals, and most importantly, manifest their soul or life purpose or mission on Earth. And that's a special thing that all light workers are seeking. Everyone's seeking, actually, especially light workers. So, how does this work? What happens here is that we have a Star of David, and this is a gateway of consciousness. And it has two big triangles. It has a large downward pointing physical triangle, which represents the creation of the ego, the external interface with the physical reality. Because you have a soul, which is eternal, and you're creating a temporary personality construct here. There's a particular ego filter to experience a reality. And then we have a large upward pointing triangle, which is the spiritual triangle, which represents the much more of what we're here to really do. And it builds upon the physical triangle, if it's well established. It tells us a lot about what we're here to do in terms of our spiritual service. And we spend the first 5 cycles of 7 years, or less, first 35 years, establishing our personality, learning to walk and talk, get conditional responses, just getting up and running. Between 35 and 42, the 6th cycle, or younger, the spiritual triangle becomes more predominant. Both are running from the time you're born, becomes more predominant. And that transition period between 35 and 42 is where most people have the midlife crisis or spiritual awakening, or younger. And that's where basically we reevaluate everything like relationships, jobs, countries. I mean, I left the corporate world at 37. So that was a big shift for me because it was time to get on with the mission. Everything I thought was important, all this corporate stuff, became insignificant. I knew there was something really important I had to do. which is this work. And within each of these triangles, these three aspects, we have karma. This is physical karma. We have talents and goals. And karma is that set of unresolved past life issues which we have to overcome to access our gift of service. And our latent talents infuse into this over time. And if it's a good match, it helps us achieve that. These get stronger, and then that moves us towards manifesting our physical goals, what gets us out of bed in the morning. I always enjoy connecting with you guys when we do these webinars, because all I've got in there, the frequencies in there, and they will drive me to connect to people. So the energy flows from karma to talents to goals. Okay. And then in the spiritual triangle, we have spiritual karma, talents, and goals. So here, the spiritual karma is holding us a very big spiritual gift. So it's very important to unlock that with the spiritual talents, and that will enable you to embody much more of your mission when you can overcome that. And as the talents get stronger as you overcome that, that helps you get to the spiritual goals here. Okay. And if you consciously work on all these 6 aspects, which you can once you understand your reading, so over time, this is percentage complete. If you know, consciously work on it, you know what the right things are to overcome it. In the book, it has recommendations, and in the training, it has recommendations to overcome the karma. So you're going to go through it a lot quicker. And you're doing it on all of them simultaneously, but your focus is going to be on 1 or 2 at a time. The soul might do that for a few days, weeks, or months, and it'll switch around as it wants to burn through all the stuff. And by consciously working on this, they start to manifest the soul destiny, the life purpose. It starts to become revealed to you. But it's revealed to you in layers at a level you can handle. So you keep working on this, more and more of the soul destiny is presented. And so that's why life is very unpredictable. If you think about your life, it probably hasn't turned out the way you thought it would. How many of you had that experience? It hasn't turned out the way you thought it was 20 years ago. Put your hand up. Okay. A lot of other interesting stuff happens. A lot of challenging stuff happens. It's because the soul wants you to have a certain experience, but it's not going to reveal it till you're ready for it. So you can end up in all sorts of interesting places if you consciously work on this chart here. So good of this is how the gold is revealed in our terms in men's work. Gold is revealed layer by layer, provided you do enough shadow work. Okay. So I want to show how this works. Right, I need a volunteer because I'm going to do a taster reading on someone who hasn't had a reading. Okay. Natalie, we'll go with you, Natalie. Try that. So let me get up the software here. So this is the online software we have for generating charts, which goes with the book. It's called soulcontractreader.com. I'm just going to log into this. Have a little drink while it boots up. Okay. So is your current name as is, as I can see on the Zoom window, Natalie?
Yes, that's correct. Just middle name is Anne, A-N-N-E.
Yeah, let me just get your current name and then I'll add the Anne in a minute. Okay, so Anne's the middle name. What's the birth name? The surname's the same surname?
Sonneman, yeah.
Yeah. And where's Sonneman from?
It's originated in Germany.
Okay.
They did alter it during the war. They dropped an N off the end of it.
Okay. But you sound like you're born in Australia, though.
Yes, yeah.
How many generations have you been there? Make sure that
I think 3 or 4.
Okay, it's pretty much Australian English then. We won't put your birth date in for data protection, given this is a public video. We'll say you're happy to do this, aren't you? So
yes.
So consenting, we put the date today. So we use this with a book to make sure that there's no mistakes with the reading. So we'll just generate the chart here. Okay. All right. Can everyone see that chart? Yeah, I'm just going to make it a little bit small, this window, so that I can increase the chart, some of the chart size a bit. Hang on. Just going to maneuver this guy around a little bit. And I'll regenerate the chart. Otherwise, the table's a little small. So, will let me do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close this guy. I'm going to move this up. Let me do it. Here we go. Do that. That'll make it a little easier, I think, to see. Okay. Can you guys see these numbers here? Was it a little small? Yeah. Hang on, let's see if I can improve it a little bit. I'll do it again. Just do it once more. We'll give it a go. Okay. So, I wonder if I can zoom in a little bit here. There you go. Make it a bit bigger. That's what it is. Yeah, that works. Right, so just briefly, what we've done is that we've converted Natalie's name to the equivalent Hebrew sounds. These 22 ancient Hebrew sounds we use here. Some of them are direct correlation to English, but some are like TA, which is Tau, is one Hebrew sound. So basically, we're matching the sounds of Hebrew, which is a sacred language. It comes out of the movement of Great Spirit, or God in the spiritual sense, in the creation of the universe. We match it the sound of the name in whatever language it's in. And then what we do is that we, in Hebrew, numbers and letters are the same energy. They're inherent within the Hebrew letters. Normal conventional numerology allocates numbers to the Roman alphabet. In this case, they're inherent within it, so it's a completely different system. It's important to understand this. So for those guys who are into conventional numerology, what you understand from that just doesn't match with this one. It's a different way of looking at things. So you don't get confused. So what we do is we take these Hebrew numbers, drop out of the Hebrew letters here. We allocate them on the Star of David in a clockwise expanding spiral till we use them all up. And then what we do is we add them up. So in physical karma, the total is 29. And because we only have 22 Hebrew letters, 29 has no meaning, so we need to reduce it. So we go 2 plus 9 equals 11, which becomes the left-hand aspect here of this number pair. 1 plus 1 equals 2, becomes the right-hand side. So we have what's called an 11-2. And these are Hebrew frequencies. It's just a label for a Hebrew frequency. Don't think of them as mathematical numbers in a Western sense. So it means there's a frequency of a pure 11 here and a pure 2. And the idea in this physical karmic position is to experience all the energies of the karmic aspect in the 11. What we call a negative expression. It doesn't mean bad, it's just the lessons of an 11, Natalie. So at any given time, you're going to be on the scale. And the soul will cover all this in a given lifetime. So you figure out all the numbers accordingly. Right? Say, for example, this total for this for spiritual goals, 2 plus 5 is 2 plus 5 equals 7. 7 can't reduce anymore. 7 plus nothing is another 7. So we get what's called a double number. This is a combination number. So it's one frequency. So there's a range of frequencies on the 11-2, but there's only one specific frequency to experience in the 7. So that's why some parts of your life, Natalie, may feel more rigid than others. Okay. In some parts you have more room to maneuver. So what we do is we take these numbers, we take the physical numbers, place them on the top half of this table, 11, 5, 5, 8, 2, 11, 2, 5, 5, 8. And take the spiritual numbers, place them on the bottom half, the 11, 2, 3, 3, 7, 7. And then what we do is we do some maths, we add them up. The total of the left-hand column is 45, total of the right-hand column is 27. We need to reduce it to the first number between 1 and 22. 4 plus 5 is 9. 2 plus 7 is 9. That becomes the soul destiny. We pop that in the middle. And all these channel symbols that Frank Alper brought through are basically energy portals. Whoops. And what they're going to do is that they are going to bring the frequencies of the chart to me. So I can give you a little reading. Okay. So what's the biggest question you have about your life, Natalie? Don't hold back. Just ask what is one question you want to ask about your life, and I'll use that as a gateway to look at, to find out why it's happening.
The big question, I suppose, what everyone's asking, what's my purpose? Like, what direction should I be going in? I feel like there's something pulling me somewhere, but it's not clear where or what that is. Okay.
And where are you in life at the moment? What are you actually doing, work and personally in your life? Just so I got some idea of the baseline.
At the moment, I'm single mum of a 20-month-old, and I'm working part-time as a vet. Not where I saw myself a couple of years ago. I went through a very difficult awakening, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all, and just putting my life back together at the moment.
Okay. All right. So let's have a look here. So I'll give a brief reading here. So in physical karma, you have an 11-2. So have you been feeling very lost recently, and probably on and off throughout your life?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you've got 2 of these guys, and so 11s are about learning both physical and spiritual structure in this case. So this is about you learning to take all the ideas and concepts that come to you, and then tossing out the things that don't resonate with you, and taking the ones that do resonate, and building your own unique structure of truth to build your life. And then developing emotional resiliency with a little emotional spring here to cope with the shocks, slings and arrows of life. Okay, so as you're starting to build these structures, how old are you now, Natalie? If you can share that.
I'm 36.
Okay, so you're in the middle of the transition from the physical to the spiritual, which is why things are a bit chaotic at the moment. Okay, and are you very sensitive?
Very sensitive, yes.
Yeah, it's sensitive because of the 2s here, because this emotional 2 goes up and down. All right, so what happens is that the 2 gets sort of squashed by all the heavy emotional stuff of life, because this mal absorbs lots of emotions and experiences from those close to you, and you end up processing it, especially parents. So basically you've got to unload, remove the imprints of all these people so the spring can actually start to move again. Then you'll find you've got more emotional resiliency. Okay. Are you impulsive, or were you impulsive when you were younger?
Still am. Trying to work on it, but still impulsive.
Does it get you in trouble?
A lot of trouble.
Yeah. So what happens with this is that it's the lessons of foolishness to wisdom. So this is you sitting on top of the spring, observing a situation or a relationship, and while the spring is moving, your perception's changing, and each position seems equally valid. Does that sound familiar?
Very familiar, yeah.
Okay, so what you got to do is, if you act while you're still moving in your perception of what's going on, you're not seeing the truth, and you'll end up making a foolish decision.
Yeah.
And what happens then is that you'll learn wisdom from that shortly afterwards. You realize that was a very bad idea. Okay, but the idea is to wait and not allow yourself to impulsively do something or say something, and wait to reach its maximum symbolic height. Then you'll see objectively what's going on. And when you see it consistently, it could be for days, weeks, or months, you make a decision, then you make a wise decision. So always wait longer, because you've got 2 of them, it's strong. So any impulse will result in grief and a foolish decision. So always wait longer than it's comfortable till things are consistent, and you make wise decisions. How's that sound as an idea?
Yeah, something I've been trying to work on, and I have managed it a couple of times, but I find I'm still fighting with those impulses all the time.
Yeah.
I have not mastered that yet.
Yeah, well, this is the big one for you because you've got both physical and spiritual karma. But the purpose of wisdom is here because you're a spiritual teacher. You're here to teach, communicate deep soul knowledge. Or a teacher of some kind, it's something with spiritual orientation. You're here to bring deep soul knowledge out to the world, including a lot of wisdom. That's the reason for that. Okay.
Yeah.
In physical talents, there's a 5. The 5 is highly sensitive. This is another reason you're highly sensitive. Okay, it's like a little fetus. Okay, and what it is or a swan, and you're here to speak the absolute truth. Has that got you in a lot of trouble speaking the truth?
Sorry, it gets me in so much trouble. Hang on. Stop. Sorry, it's got me in so much trouble. People can't handle the truth, and I don't know how to speak anything but the truth.
Yeah, because you've had persecution in past lives for speaking the truth, and so probably from the same people who object to you saying it. Okay, so you're here to really connect to these very spiritual energies, speak the truth no matter what, clear the past life persecution, and be a real pioneer with that spiritual truth coming out. So in terms of what's next, you do something very pioneering, cutting edge, not mainstream because you'll get bored. Does that sound about right?
That's definitely right. And when I get bored, that's when I get impulsive and I mess things up. Yeah.
So just look for the cutting edge stuff. This people who have 11 2s and 5s love this work simply because it's the structure of the absolute truth of what's creating your life. This is a very typical configuration for people who are attracted to the work. So you're in the right place. So to function in the world, though, you need to use your intuition because this is a very spiritual energy in the physical part of the chart. So you need to trust your intuition at all times, and that will guide you through. Using brute force or anything that won't work in the same way. All right. How do you find being on Earth? This is saying it's been quite challenging to adjust to being on Earth.
I feel like I'm not from here. Like it doesn't feel like home.
Yeah, definitely.
It never has.
Yeah.
And with the intuition, it's only been the last few years where I've actually listened to it for the first time, and it's propelled me forward so quickly when I do listen to it, and I have just blocked it out my entire life.
Yeah, well, the Western left brain tends to go for science rather than intuition, but your whole life depends on it in terms of moving forward, especially in this new position, because you're rebuilding a life, you're rebuilding a new structure of life here. And that's after.
Yeah, I've always been so like science-based in my thinking, and all that's changed now, and using my intuition, it's never put me in a bad place. It's never been wrong.
Yeah, well, that's the one to trust, because unfolding this new phase of life requires the flow, trusting what we call the spiritual signature. What is the next right action in that moment? And it's not going to come from the scientific mind. I used to be a chemical engineer a long time ago. Now I do this really out there woo stuff. So the physical goals here are saying you need to you're learning to ground on Earth, form clear emotional boundaries, because it's like a little amoeba, a watery emotional creature. Form clear emotional boundaries with others in society, and learn not to get over involved in other people's stuff. Learn to know that this is theirs, you can visit, but you're not responsible for it. How's that been going? Emotional boundaries and not getting involved.
It's been a struggle my whole life, boundaries. But since having my son, it's put life into a completely different perspective for me, and I'm more focused on him and myself rather than everybody else's trouble, and I've been a lot happier since I've been doing that.
Yeah, you just definitely mind your own emotional business, really, then life is a lot easier.
Yeah.
They're responsible for their stuff, basically. And this is the reason you're a vet as well, because this is the love of animals. Okay. Do you find you relate better to animals than humans?
I understand them so well, and I have this connection with them. I can't explain it. It's like just within my vet work, I often just know things by just touching my hands on the animals. I know what's wrong with them. I know how to treat them. It's not something I can really discuss in my line of work. People just think you're crazy. Yeah, it's a really strong connection.
Yeah. So this is the ground you for working with the animals, but humans are, you're meant to get better with humans as well. So it takes time, but that's the idea eventually as well. Well, it's the intuition here because you're very psychic and plugged in. This is why you just know, and this can feel what's going on in someone's energy fields or an animal's energy fields. It's just like a knowing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I'm very in tune with people's energies, not so much with communicating with people, but with their energies. I can feel a lot from that.
Yeah. Yeah. So use that to create better relationships, connections. Okay. So we talked about spiritual karma here. So the physical karma is learning about physical structure in the world. It's life and death, or death to life. It's about the death of old things physically and emotionally. Okay. And the reconstruction of a new life. So you're going to go through phases of death of old things and new things turning up, a new way of life. The new way of life you're forming now is going to be quite different, isn't it? Probably from the previous one you had.
Very different, yeah.
Yeah. So this is about forming spiritual structure. This is forming physical structure. And the talents here are to be a leader, communicator. So is there anything you're particularly passionate about communicating or teaching to the world?
It's one, apart from like animals and all that, the other thing I'm interested in is just helping women like be able to discuss trauma that's happened to them and free themselves of that burden.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in your chart here, you soul destiny of a 9, which is the dragon, the most powerful energy in the chart. And so this is very similar to my one, and that you're here to overcome your own trauma,
yeah,
to come into your power. So do you want to share a little bit about how you got disempowered, what you created here?
It was childhood trauma, sexual abuse for quite a few years.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one of the most challenging ones to overcome, but the idea is to overcome it and heal it. And in that process, unleash your dragon, unleash the power of the 9. This is the most powerful energy. It's about becoming conscious of the resistance in the soul or the ego to unleashing the power of the soul, because it's the fear and the ego of self-destruction and destruction of others that it really lets loose. But the whole point of working through all these 6 outer aspects is to come fully into your power, become this really powerful dragon-like energy as a catalyst to serve others. That's the purpose of this life. Okay. And how's that sound as an idea?
It sounds good. Great. Yeah, still working on, I feel like I'm a lot closer to that now than previously, but there's tying up a few loose ends still, I suppose. Yeah,
this will take quite a while, but you know about it now. You know what's important. So work on clearing the abuse, coming into your power, shadow work. Okay. Because what that will do then is that in the 3 here in spiritual talents, there's a big plug of unworthiness to be loved, which is triggered by the trauma. And as you heal the trauma and come into your power, you'll peel out layers of this unworthiness, this big plug, and what will eventually happen is that will give you access to the internal canal, which contains all your soul knowledge. Then you'll better bring it out to communicate to the world. Some form of teaching, facilitation, I'd say, is on the cards for this.
Yeah.
And in spiritual goals, you've got the 7. So are you indecisive, Natalie?
I cannot make a decision to save myself.
Yeah. Okay. This is why. It's because it's saying there's been a broken heart from childhood. because of this disempowerment. So the wounded inner child's here, hiding away, saying, I don't want to be seen. I want to hide away, and I'll present a public facade so people can see the public face. But the true me, who feels bad, feels dark, scared of being seen, doesn't feel safe, wants to hide away. Does that sound about right?
Spot on. You couldn't get any closer.
Okay, so the decision you have to make is, shall I drop the facade? The big decision you have to make, which drives all the other indecisions, shall I drop the facade? Okay, and then start to heal the wounded child and bring her true feelings and thoughts out to the world. And when you can do that, then the indecision will go away. It takes time. The idea is to become one person. And as you become one person, and the heart opens, the magnetics of being authentic will draw to you lots of like-minded people to work with you, because everyone has a team when they come to Earth. You'll draw lots of like-minded people to you, and then you'll find other team members turn up, and you're here to synergize and catalyze a whole network of people, both personally and professionally, into a greater whole. So this could be working with a team for whatever your mission is. It could be the audience you have as a teacher or a communicator. It can be all sorts of things. So how's your network doing professionally and personally?
It's never been good. It's just recently have started to attract like-minded people for the first time in my life. I've always been surrounded by people that just don't get me, people that don't have the same values as me. Yeah. And it's been hard to form close friendships because of that. But just recently I've started to meet some of these people that are a little bit more like-minded. Okay, well, this is starting to happen then, because this is the key. This is the key to the mission. Yeah. Yeah, I've been able to start losing that facade with some people. Yeah. Something I've been working on. But yeah, it's still well and truly there. It's going to be a difficult one to get rid of, I think. Yeah, it takes time, but the main thing is you know about it now, and you can work on all these aspects progressively. So overall, this life is about finding structure of how to function in the physical world, building bodies of knowledge in the physical world, building businesses in the world, maybe finding your spiritual structure of what's resonant to you. And it's about speaking the truth no matter what, doing pioneering work, grounding it in the world so people can access it, related to society, which you need to do to deliver this high level work. Communicating, teaching, expressing the spiritual structure you've learned with an open heart to lots of people. In the process, becoming empowered yourself and empowering others. How's all that sound? Yeah, it makes that all much clearer for me. And it's everything you said was spot on. Yeah. So thank you. This is what this life is about. So now it's just a matter of working through each one as things come up around them. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for stepping up. Okay. Anyone got any questions on that process? This is just to show people how it works. Even you, Sari, if it's in the chat. No? Okay. All right. So we'll close this triangle. Close the software down. All right. Just shut that down for now, minimize that. So that's how it works. Okay. So how can you use this in your spiritual practice? Okay. A lot of people come already practitioners or thinking about becoming practitioners. So Natalie's spiritual map of life was revealed, and as a therapist, counselor, coach, consultant, even a business consultant learn this, or training or workshop facilitator, this will give you the spiritual map of your clients' lives. So you're going to know, you can have an immediate and profound understanding of their issues from the get-go. You know, I've never met Natalie before, but I know more about you than your mum, basically, from that. Okay, which will guide you accurately in your work with them in the future.
And it builds a lot of trust with people because you both agree, yeah, this is the absolute truth, what life is about. So let's get on with it and sort it out. Let's move forward. So it produces better and faster results in terms of working with students and clients because everyone's got a true map of what's happening. And also that truth cuts through a lot of the unconscious ego defenses that we all have, because ego can't handle that sort of level of truth, which means you clear a lot of issues just by being conscious of what's actually going on. Because ego is designed to keep us unconscious and in our karma, not escaping from it. So if you feel the urge to come to the training, you'll learn the structure of how these 22 numbers work using the system. So you get a deeper understanding of yourself and everyone in your life. And then you'll learn how to give soul contract readings based on people's names. So you can deliver that gift, like I've just delivered to Natalie, so people can transform. I mean, that was one of the most transformative moments in my life, having that reading. I think the only thing ahead of that is having my son being born. So how does the training actually work? Well, what we do is that you learn experientially to complete immersion in the interpretations of the training. Some people have asked me, they said, Nicolas, I've got the book. Can I just come to the level 2 training? Because I've read the book, I understand it. Well, the book is based upon, it's a subset of the training manual, but what we do in the training is that we spend the first 3 days out of 5 using the students' birth names, and we aim to go through every number if we can, with each student hopefully having a turn if they've got the right numbers. They actually share their subjective experience of what a particular number is like. We don't go and read through the manual page by page. We relate to it. We give you a direct transmission, bodily transmission. And when you hear from someone the truth of a particular number, you never forget, because usually it's pretty strong, sometimes painful, sometimes joyful as well. So we transmit to you what the numbers mean through using the charts of all the people to go through the 22 numbers. So it's body experiential learning, which you don't get in the book. The book has a level of transmission, but this is the next stage beyond it. And so basically it reawakens your DNA, you get drawn to this work because you've done it before. And once it's awakened and this energy is programmed into your body and your fields, provided you use it, you never forget it. It's the most effective way of learning. We spend the last 2 days of the workshop practicing giving readings, giving and receiving twice. So, and most people are surprised at how good their readings are because they are becoming the work. It's not about knowing it, it's about becoming it, which is a completely different thing. And we support practitioners who've learned this. We have a Facebook support group, and we have a Zoom paid for support program. This group's free to get people launched out in the world. And it integrates nicely if you already have a spiritual practice, if you already have a practice. It often changes it quite a lot because it becomes the core structure upon which our other therapies are used to actually focus in a much more laser-like way to clients to help them work through the issues they came to you for. So what happens to your clients? Well, when you deliver readings to them, people get a deep sense of peace when they hear the truth of their life. And it's very profoundly and accurately shared. Because they know it's the truth. A lot of people cry. There's a feeling of relief that's actually an order and meaning to life. You feeling relieved, Natalie, having learnt that? This is actually what's really going on.
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
It's makes things a lot clearer.
Yeah, so your life is not, you didn't fall off the back of a cosmic truck and it's all gone wrong. This is all meant to happen. Okay. I used to feel like I got off on the wrong planet. Something's gone badly wrong here. Okay. So, and it enables those who feel like victims of life to take charge and become empowered to move forward from wherever they are. It allows everyone to move forward from wherever they are. And we teach you in the training to work out where someone is on that map and what are the appropriate next steps to move forward. A lot of people get stuck because they don't understand what's really going on. And they come back and reincarnate and do it again until they get it. So what we're really doing with this is we're showing people their spiritual map. We have very targeted recommendations on how they can overcome the challenges. And most importantly, as they overcome them, how to manifest their dreams. A lot of people have unmanifest dreams, and it's very frustrating because they know what they want to, they have a feeling what they want to do, but they just can't get there. And it helps people align to their life purpose and manifest it. It touches their inner being, creates a deep trust and connection. And you can go much more rapidly and deeply into your work with them. It also opens you to a deeper level of yourself and connection to others and compassion for others, because people just can't help themselves because of what's in their contract. It's just what's going to happen. The thing is, by bringing consciousness to it, they can actually work through it more easily. Okay. So, with the training, you'll be preparing, giving readings in the last 2 days. And the aim is that to deliver readings soon after the workshop with practice. Most people are getting pretty good at it now. Get some really good results. So you can, at level 1, the aim is to give you a good understanding of the 22 numbers and the different meanings they have. It may seem like a lot, but people get it. And to deliver good readings with a bit of practice, so you can actually integrate it into your practice or start a practice with it. Okay. So, any questions, anybody, about the training and the work? Put it in the chat if you like. Where's Juliet gone? I'll just switch the video off. Okay. Any questions? This is the time to ask them. We'll put it in the chat.
The one coming up is over several weekends, isn't it, Nicolas?
Well, the Asia Pacific one's on, I think, the 10th. Let me look at it. It's the 10th to the 14th of March. Let me just check the PowerPoint here. Let me share it. So there's 2 trainings available, and in March we have the Asia Pacific one for the first time, which Lauren's helping on. And this is designed to be friendly. It's 7 p.m. New Zealand time to 3 a.m. Normally it's like 12:30 midnight or 1:30 in the morning to start in New Zealand, as you know. So we try to make it more friendly, 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. So it's 5 days in a row. And in Australia, I think you guys are on the East Coast, so it's 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. for Lauren and for Natalie. Okay. All right. Where are other people? Juliet, it's 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, in the UK. But if you want to come, we've split the training. The other time we run the training is hang on. Let's have a look.
Is there another one in February?
Yeah, the UK one is the UK one, the Western Hemisphere one's the 25th and 27th of March. And it's the first 3 days, and the 2nd to the 3rd of April. Okay, so it's split in 2 because the Californians said, we don't get much holiday and we don't want to get up really 4:30 in the morning for 5 days in a row. So I said, okay, we'll split it up. But it also gives you time to actually integrate one level before the other. Okay, so that will be like a 1:30 a.m. start in Maryland. So that's the other way to do it. Okay. So I think this is probably a bit of an easier option for Australasians, which is what the timing is designed for. And so in India, it's 11:30 a.m. start, Hong Kong 2 o'clock, Japan 3, because we have people coming from everywhere, Malaysia 2 p.m. So it's reasonably civilized. In the Middle East, where people there 10 a.m. start. So it's basically normal working hours. Okay, so you can pick either one, and it's all done on Zoom. And we do about 4 1.5 hour slots with 20-minute breaks, 2 20-minute breaks and 1 hour meal break. So you get a break from the digital beast. okay, and you get to eat and look after the kids or whatever you need to do. So we're just trying it out in Asia Pacific to see how people find it. Okay. Oh yeah, so the cost, yeah, it's £652, about $850 US. If you want to secure a place, it's £250 secures your place, non-refundable deposit, about $325 US. And to register and find out more, it's soulcontractreadingtraining.com with that. Okay. All right. Does that clarify things, Marilyn, in terms of timing?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just giving it a shot, Laura and I, to see what happens. Okay. It means I can swear more as well if it's in Australasia. You see, I can't swear in Europe. See, so I can slip into a bad New Zealand accent. So, okay, which seems to happen when I'm with Australasians. So I've got to be more careful what I say in England. So, any other questions? Anybody or queries about the training? No. Okay. Someone else has joined us here. Who's that? Smita. Hi, Smita. If you want to join us, you can just say yes to becoming a panelist. You can talk to us or just message us. Yeah. So, no other questions? This is the time to ask them.
I have a question.
Go for it, Juliet.
On the number 11, it says that you'll find it hard to absorb the soul contract reading, because one of mine is 11 as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it says I'll find it hard to absorb the soul contract reading.
Initially, because it's a new structure.
Okay.
So what we do with 11 people with 11 twos, we say you need to watch the Zoom video at least 4 or 5 times when it feels right. And what will happen is that a new layer of the structure will go in, because you're only taking about 15-20% of the reading the first time, because the level of truth is so strong. The ego says, "Oh, I can't handle anymore." The next time you listen to it, you'll hear a different reading, different transmission, and you'll go, "Okay, now I understand this bit, this bit, this bit," and then new pieces come in. You come back a few weeks or months later, listen to it again, you get another layer. And by the time you hit the fourth or fifth time, you're actually saying, "Actually, I got this now."
I'm already experiencing that as well, because I've listened to the recordings a couple of times. So
yeah, makes sense now. Is it?
Yeah. And also I have a second question. On one of the other webinars, you said how this is like the map, and then because somebody mentioned human design, you said that can be considered like the vehicle. So I guess there are lots of different types of vehicles that one could use to then, develop yourself in accordance with your map. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So the soul contract provides the general potential of and direction your soul wants to take you. Human design, I think, has about 7 or 8 different types of designs within it. So that's the vehicle, the way you actually travel on the map. Okay. And each like a projector or a manifestor, they function differently. So if you're aligned and go with the flow, what your soul contract's saying, and act and flow with the human design type, life will open up much more. The two go together very well. They're very complementary. Yeah. So because we're conditioned to function in certain ways, but often it goes against the spiritual grain of who we really are. So the purpose of this work is to align to where the soul wants to go, and align to where your physical and energetic system wants to go in terms of its human design. And then you have a different sort of life altogether. So this is beyond normal science, but it's actually spiritual science, really. It's actually who we really are. Because science is just conditioning that was meant to disconnect us from spirit when they brought it in at Newton's time. That's the whole point of science, is to disconnect us from God, from source. That's the main purpose of it, actually. And most of it is not true. It's very distorted. It's not the real truth of how the universe works. Okay. All right. So, okay. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Hang on, my phone just It's on site, but it's making a lot of noise. Okay, sorry about that. No more questions? Okay, so yeah, you're welcome to come if you feel drawn to it. Yeah, only come if you feel drawn to it. There's always a right time for these sort of things. Yeah, soulcontractreadingtraining.com if you want to learn more about it. And it has the dates for the both trainings, Asia Pacific and for the Western Hemisphere. So I'm looking forward to that, teaching one in Australia, especially. Lauren, do you want to share any experiences of it? Because you've been on the training.
I have.
To finish off.
Yeah. It is absolutely life-changing. And you know, the depth that you go to, you know, in each of the numbers and exploring their multidimensionality and experiencing people's experiences of them really helps you to absorb and understand at a very deep level, so that then you can help others understand when you do readings. So there is just nothing like it. When I read the book, I went, no, I need much more than this. I love the book, but you know, I really need to feel it and absorb it and use it. And then as time goes on, you just learn more and more and more, and it continues to grow. And even still, I'm realizing things about my own numbers through, you know, things we say in different trainings, or even on this webinar, I learned something else new, you know. So it just continues to evolve. And there is, I mean, doing the work is so rewarding. Doing the readings, it's just amazing. It really does change people's lives. So I can't recommend it highly enough. If you feel drawn to it, then, you know, that's the flashing neon sign for you to go, you know, and to do the training and to start giving readings or deepening your understanding of yourself. I'm so grateful to this work because it has brought me a greater understanding of myself. But like Nicolas said before, the compassion you develop for the person in front of you, understanding, you know, their life and that they have a chart and that they're working through things too, it really does change the way that you move in the world as well. And then you just continue to evolve and grow. And it will never stop. But this training has been hugely significant in all of the shifts that I have been through in the last couple of years. And I'm very grateful that I stumbled across the interview on Gaia and ended up here. So it's you definitely won't regret it. If you feel drawn to it, then it will just change your life.
Okay, thanks, Laura. Okay, any other questions before we finish, guys? Thanks for being there and stepping up and engaging with the whole process.
Oh yes, one more.
Juliet?
So if I pay the deposit of 250, then I just I pay the rest.
It's about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks before, Charlotte, our training coordinator, will email you about 2 weeks before, and then you pay the balance, and then we send you all the course material and things like that. There's a lot of manuals and things like that digitally, and then you're ready to go. Basically, that's how we handle it. So
if I pay in full a bit before that, then I can get the manuals to start reading earlier.
Yes, if you paid in full, you can have the manuals as soon as you paid in full.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, if you want to read earlier. Okay. The book is a subset of the manuals. We took out some of the very more controversial interpretations which can't be released in the public arena. You understand when you see them. Yeah. So we made the book so anyone can read it. It's reasonably safe, but powerful. So it'll look familiar, but there are other things in there which when you see them, we'll realize, that's why he took it out. Okay, because it explains a lot of the darker side of life as well. It's in there.
Okay.
Why it happens. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right. Look forward to seeing you. Yeah, look forward to seeing you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm just very new to all of this and haven't got my head around it yet. Would you suggest maybe I wait for another time to do it, or would it be, do you think I would be able to, move with it at that level.
Well, it's what opens your heart, Natalie. If it opens your heart, you feel drawn, then it's time to come. Only you can know that. We record the videos of the training because you got 211.2. So the videos are loaded on Vimeo. They're password protected. They're not ever made into a product. So most people view the videos a few times after the training to hear the parts they didn't absorb the first time, especially if they got 11.2s, which is most of the class. So the main thing is you feel drawn, and if you're wanting to build it into your new practice, then the sooner you learn it, the more you're going to get on. You're going to get up and running quicker. Okay, so it's just a matter of what. Did you just try it on your heart? Is your heart open for this one or is it another one? Because we're going to try this one at a more friendly time zone. But if it's successful, we might run another one. But this is the only guaranteed one that we're going to run it at a Australian friendly time zone. Otherwise, you're talking about 10:30 at night or something. So to start. So that's the other thing.
I'm a night person. That's when I wake up. If life turns out if life lets me, I definitely want to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So we can talk about it more.
The little one.
Yeah, just do what feels right. That's the main thing. We only want you to come if you're ready. We don't want you to come if you're not ready.
Yeah. Because
it won't work as well as if you are ready. So in terms of the energy of the workshop. Probably don't hear that very often. So but that's how we work. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody, and engaging. And Natalie for bearing your soul, showing your true self. We really appreciate that. Okay, and hope to see, we will see a few of you on there. That'd be great. All right. Okay. Goodava, you have a question.
No, I was just saying waving bye.
Oh, you're waving goodbye. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank
Okay.
you.
Lauren, if you just want to stay behind, that'd be great. I want to have a bit of a chat to you.
See you, everyone.
Okay, if you guys just leave the webinar, that'd be great. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.